Utah Congressman Ben McAdams says it is the sickest he has ever been by every metric and for the longest time. COVID-19 had him down for the count for 16 days and in the hospital for 8 of them. He's home now, still weak, but doing much better, and wanting to call attention to what he went through and just how serious this COVID-19 pandemic is. We got together over Skype and I asked him 3 questions. Did you at any point feel like, hey, this could take my life? Did you ever get to that point in the hospital?
You know, I think the thing that I was worried about is needing a ventilator. So I never got to the point that I would need a ventilator. But yeah, I think there was, there's some fear. I'm laying there in the hospital. I'm struggling to breathe. I'm just taking short and shallow breaths. And that was pretty scary a few different days. There was, I usually talk to my wife and our kids several times each day, and we'd do FaceTime and that to see each other. But there were a couple of days there where I just didn't have the energy to hold up a phone, to carry on a conversation. I couldn't, focus on breathing and talking at the same time. So I just would have short conversations with my family and then go. And so, yeah, there were a few scary days there. I know that there are people who have who this hit even harder, and I think I was lucky that it didn't get worse. But there were a few pretty scary days.
This past weekend, sadly, we lost a business titan here in Utah. Bob Garf passed away because of COVID-19. What message does that send if someone of that magnitude and that profile can actually succumb to COVID-19? What does that say to all the rest of us?
This is a sickness that doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, if you're old or young, if you're successful or struggling. And, I had the pleasure of knowing Bob Garf a little bit, and what a titan in our community he was, and how committed he was to public service, and to how much he loved his state and how much he gave back. And his loss will really touch so many of us in so many ways, and he will be missed. But I think that this hopefully will also serve as a wake-up call to all of us that the governor's not joking, that when he tells us to stay home and stay safe, he means it. And he's being advised by public health professionals who know the science and the data behind this and how important it is for us to follow that directive. And I hope, that's why I've been willing to speak up, even though I'm tired and I'm not quite 100% right now. I've wanted to speak up to also share that message that this is serious. And I know it's causing hardship on a lot of families, and it's impacting our livelihoods, our ability to put food on the table and care for our families. But this is serious, and it's important to follow the directives that are given to us to stay home and stay safe.
When you finally made that realization that you were going to live through this, and that you were going to get better and come back to full speed at some point, what happened inside your heart?
Excuse me. They tell me that this cough will maybe be with me for a month or so. So even though I'm not symptomatic, the virus is gone. There's still, some damage done that'll take some time for my body to overcome. But part of how this was there were points in almost every day where I rallied and I felt better, and I thought, okay, this is it. I'm gonna get better. And then I would just crash again. My fever would skyrocket, my breathing would become difficult, and my oxygen levels would nosedive. And it was just so frustrating that it just felt like I could never turn a corner on this. And then finally, it was on Friday that I started feeling better, and I didn't crash, and was feeling, you could see the light at the end of the tunnel, that I'd be released from the hospital. I'd be able to see my family. And it really put into perspective, I think, what's important in life, those who we love and cherish, and who make our lives what they are. And for me, it's been a time to reflect on that, to hold close my wife and my kids, and to really value them. And, it's also a time, it's kind of scary that what this means for our country economically. I think there are difficult times ahead for our country, for our state, as we as more and more people are impacted by this virus, as the impacts of this pandemic on our economy, on our jobs, on the livelihoods of our family, I think we're going to feel it. And some people are going to feel it maybe more than others. But we need to come together, and we can get through this.
Congressman Ben McAdams, we are so glad that you are back up, you're out of the hospital, and that COVID-19 is in your rearview mirror. Thank you so much for being part of 3 Questions.
Thank you, Bob.